really minimal. For the shape, we currently have this on a cone, and the cone's going to work for us, but we actually want to make this cone a little bit bigger. At the start of it, we kind of have a, if we have a tree size, then we probably need to have something larger for the whole, all the branches and everything to be able to be usable. I'll go for a, let's see, somewhere around a 3 looks pretty good. Yeah, that actually should work pretty nice. So we'll do about a 3 on that one. The angle, remember when you do an angle, this is going to be 0 all the way up to, I believe it's going to be 90. And so you can do all the way straight down or all the way where it goes across wise towards it. I'm going to take this all the way down to 0. That way we can kind of have a nice, we have a guaranteed it's falling in one direction. Alright, and we'll stick to the base. The base emitting from means it's going to be this little circle right here is where the pieces start from. Alright, so let's go ahead and go a little bit more here. We'll do the velocity over lifetime, and actually let's hold off on the speed of it just yet. Let's see, well actually we could probably go ahead and do the speed. If we want to do the speed of this one, the velocity over lifetime, we're just saying, we're just simply saying that we want to make it so that it goes either slower or faster from the start to the finish of its cycle. For the x, let's actually put in a -1, and then we'll put in a -1 right here. And instead of on the local though, let's go ahead and just do a world on this one. There we go. And let's do a range, so we're going to go from a random between 2 constants. Oh, looks like it's not going to keep them for us. So we'll do -1 to 1. That way we have a nice little range between the speed, and then all of a sudden we're going to have some leaves falling faster and then some leaves falling slower. So now with our velocity, if you can tell now, instead of that consistent going down, we have just a nice little randomness to it as it goes across. Alright. So now that we have the velocity in there, the next thing we want to kind of take a look at here is that when it's coming out of the tree and when it's landing, do you notice one thing that's happening is it's just popping. And we don't really want to pop. We want something that feels like it fades in and then fades back out when it goes away. So there's an option for that one, and what we want to use is the color over lifetime right here. And the color over lifetime, we'll go ahead and use the gradient color. So if you notice, you have gradient right here selected. So I'm just going to left click on the gradient color. And remember, for gradient color, if you click on the top portion right here, this is the alpha. On the bottom portion, this is the color. When you left click on it to highlight or select a color, you'll see it changes to alpha. If you click down here, it'll change the color. It also allows you to see the location, so you know where you are in the space that you have right here. So for instance, if I was wanting to make a new one right here, I'm just going to left click. If I want to delete it, I can just push the delete key if it's selected. I'm going to place one in. I'm going to put this one about 25%. So we'll do 25% here. We'll place one down here, and we'll do this one about 75%. That'll give us a nice quarter between those two. On the ends for the alpha, we want to fade them. So like right now, it's 100% showing. So I'm going to take my alpha and drop it all the way to black. And then left click to select the other one and drop it all the way to black. So now if you notice, now what we have is that they come out and they fade, and then they have a nice moment where they're solid. And then once we get our collider set to them, see when they get down here, they fade out. So what we want to do is make sure that the full life cycle, when they hit, they'll stick, and then they'll fade away. Alright, so that's going to be the goal for that one. Now, again, notice I didn't actually do anything with the color on this side of it. It's just white, so it's applying directly what the color is. If you wanted to apply some color, you could right there. Alright, so that's going to be the color over lifetime. The next one is the size over lifetime, so let's go ahead and click on that one. So again, our size over lifetime, whenever you use the curve inside of the inspector. Remember, down here at the bottom, you'll see that little bar right there at the very bottom right there. Particle system curves, you can click on it. So the size over lifetime, this is just going to be starting from 1, and then what happens from it. Well, really, we want it to kind of go from a regular state, and then we can have it kind of just soft shrink away. So we'll go ahead and take the endpoint right here. I'm going to make a new point on this one. In order to make a new point on the line, you just want to right click. Oops. Let me make sure I'm right on that line right there. Yep. Let's see if I can grab the line here. Oh, may not let me grab the line inside of here. Okay, there we go. Just a single click will let you do it on this one. There we go. So if you're inside of this one, you can single click. If you're on the particle panel window, then you'll right click. So on the smaller window right here, just left click on a point on the side. I'm going to choose and place in this one. So I'm going to drag this one down to about, if you notice, if you can see right here, it says 0.5. I'm going to take the very end to 0.5, and we'll make a nice kind of a hard edge angle to it right there. Alright, and I'm going to keep this one just about at the top. What we really want to do is have that right, and if you notice, right when it gets to the very bottom of its lifetime, so we're at about 0.9 to 1. So right around 0.9 is when we just simply want it to start dropping down and then shrinking away. So if you notice, these are just shrinking right there at that point. Alright. So that's going to give us a nice little setup for that. Let's go ahead and go back up to the top here. So the next thing that we want to do, we've got it falling down, but we want it to fall and hit the object here, the ground plane. So in our particle system, let's scroll down here. I'm going to go ahead and lower my particle system curve window there. Inside of our, let's see where we have collision rollout. If you click on the checkbox for collision, now collision, you can actually choose a plane or you can choose the world. It just depends on what objects you're looking for. I'm going to say that we're actually using objects within the world. So that means that it collides with, and it says everything, certain things. So you may only have leaves only collide with the ground, so they'll fall through any other objects, or they won't get it. Or if you want to have characters included, then you add extra collisions with those on the layers. Ours will just say everything at the moment. Now if you notice, when you do collision, if you check out what's happening right now, is that they come down, they hit, and they bounce. When you turn on collision,